I just feel like, man, the Lions they're up against it with a guy they saw a lot of promise in last year, which was Wingo, and Lee McNeil, who's been busting out of his shell year after year after year. And I mean, just an absolute dog and a leader on this team. You could see it on Aleem's face, how disappointed he was last year, just like anyone, going through an injury like that. But he knew how much he meant to this team and how critical he was needed. I hope he comes back and bounces back big. Same thing for Wingo. I hope he comes back and bounces back big. I just expect Brad to be ready for the other side of that coin, if you will.
Yep. I think there's one thing that's not going to happen this year. Brad Holmes is not going to get caught with his pants down again.
Yeah.
I don't care if we have 20 guys go on IR. He's not going to be unprepared for it. He is super prepared now because of what happened last year.
So, like Motown was bringing up, and Motown, appreciate your compliment, buddy, or comments. I really do. I try to be extremely consistent and transparent. So, the take on Hutch and how long it takes to get him back to form and McNeil. So, the other side of this equation, the other side of the work that I was doing here with Aleem, I couldn't really find a whole lot of case study on Aiden, right? I couldn't find a very similar, broken tibia fibula for a high impact elite defensive end or quasi elite defense. You know how I feel about Aiden. I feel like he's just on the outside scratching that bark to get in, right? I put these guys in the same box. We've heard that there's no ligament damage. We've heard that there's no nerve damage. Now, if I were to use myself as a case study, I'll tell you that after I had my major back surgery, I felt better immediately. And then 9 months later, all of a sudden, everything erupted inside my body. My leg to this day, like I wake up multiple times in the night where I'm in a full cramp. I'll just be sitting watching a movie or watching news, whatever I'm doing. And all of a sudden, my leg is fully locked out, right? It's like erect and straight and your foot's all messed up. And I got to get off the couch or I'm in a recliner. So imagine you slowly get back down, right? And then you got to hop up and you got to jump up against the wall or a table or something and get stretched out. So 9 months later, I started having all of these nerve issues that I didn't have before. Now I had drop foot and all that, and this is a back injury. So this kind of more relates to Levi. But I didn't expect to have those issues because I was feeling great. And now, multiple years later, it's worse than it ever was before. So those kinds of things that I know personally have happened to me, and I'm not playing football, right? I'm not putting my body under immense pressure. I'm not out there, banging hundreds of pounds of weight. I'm 44 years old and lazy, if you will, to a degree. I'm not out there doing what I used to do. So I just know that freak things can happen. I know that injuries suck and little things can totally change. What I saw from Aiden running, I wasn't as impressed, but we don't see what he's doing behind the scenes. We have no clue. What Brad said was favorable, right? That he's seen enough with Aiden's running and some of the training that he's been doing, but we haven't seen Aiden under pressure, right? We haven't seen him taking on a 325-pound lineman, which when he has to anchor and you're trying to anchor and you're pushing, 300 plus pounds, it's also pushing all their weight against you and all their strength. That's when that leg is going to take the most pressure. And so we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how he's going to respond. And I honestly don't feel like anyone's going to give us the truth about any nerve damage. How could he not have had any nerves impacted? You know how many nerves are running through that area? I mean, there's a ton, but just the peroneal nerve is enough that branches and runs through all out the calf and where I have my problem, on the side of on the knee as a distal. I think it's the distal side of the knee that it runs through. And then down and branches all the way down. That stems all the way from the back to the sciatica nerve that branches into all these other nerves, right? That sciatica is huge, right? And it branches all the way. How could you not have impacted some nerves? You had to have. I mean, that leg snapped and broke through the skin. It had to have impacted some. Whether it was a big enough nerve to cause an issue or not, we don't know. We'll never know. I hope for Aiden's sake that he's good to go. But I'm going to be reserved. And I'm going to be reserved because I don't want to be let down, right? I think Aiden's going to be just fine eventually. But then again, this year, are we really expecting him to bounce back? I hope he does. But are we really expecting him to be a double-digit sack guy and, 70 pressures and being who he was before the injury happened? I'm going to be reserved on that. That's my opinion. Eric is the guy to give you all the roses, rainbows, and now marshmallows. So I'll wait. I'm the wait and see approach guy. It is what it is for me.
Yep.
It is what it is until it's not, right? That's it. That's just the way it is for me.
Yeah. We're definitely going to have to take a wait and see approach on all these injuries and see just what's going to happen. I'm sure Brad has a plan, something that he's not privy to let us look at. But I know that this is beyond prepared him for the future.
Yeah. Look, Aiden is from what we know, right? From what we read. I don't know Aiden personally. I've never had a conversation with him. But everything that you've read and anything that you've heard, from his teammates, his former coaches, Aiden is going to put 1,000% into everything. The work that he is doing off the field when nobody is looking is the most important. He wants to be the best. And guys that want to be the best, that are putting in the work, those are the guys that you trust are going to be able to do it. Aiden's going to be able to do it. The only thing that Aiden can't do anything about is his body. Like he can't fix something that's broke that can't be fixed. Like if there's nerve damage, you can't really fix it. Now they're going to install a spine stimulator in me here in a few weeks or a month, whatever. And yeah, we'll see what that does. But again, it's not fixing anything. It's dumbing the nerves down and making them not react, the way that they're reacting. So that's just the one thing no football player can do anything about. And unfortunately, you either got to live with it and play through it, and either it affects you or it doesn't. At the end of the day, everything that we've read and heard about Aiden is positive so far. So let's just keep the positivity rolling, and hopefully we see him back in the saddle, banging away on these quarterbacks in 25.